Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is gonna be about the hunter build, the bombardments. Or is it Bombardiers build? I, I, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'll call it bombardments. Yeah, I'll probably call it bombardments for the whole of the video. So bombardments. It's pretty much just the boot that allows you to create like a mini bomb explosion whenever you do a dodge. It's a pretty fun build. I am very sad that the bomb does not count as a solo explosion, so I couldn't like work it into a one myself build. I tried farming an actual proper role for this boot, but unfortunately it wasn't really dropping on during the last sector. So the build I made was using the collection version, and that's why my stats was not as great as I wanted to be. But all in all, it's actually a pretty fun build. I used it pretty much all day while I was streaming. Used it for my GOS runs and for my Deepstone Crypt runs. And it's actually pretty fun, easy build to do that surprisingly I found very enjoyable. And the one thing that works well with this build is the fact that it kind of goes into everything. Like it works with everything. You can kind of like change the play style, change your mods around to kind of like be more aggressive, be more passive, or just like kind of like a mini super build. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video as always. Let's get into the build. Let's go over this build. So this build is essentially centered around this boot. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever get like the natural proper role of those boots, and I don't really want to farm lost sectors that much. But I actually have a newfound love for this boot, the bombardments. So the aim of this build is to essentially be able to dodge as much as possible, so that you can keep spamming the explosions, the time bomb you essentially leave behind every time you do a dodge. It does mean you have to risk your life a lot more. So you can play this one of two ways. You can either make a super build, which is currently what I have on, which involves the usual supercharge, the charged up, and obviously taking charge to become charge with light. And obviously you need the energy converter, which allows you to get half of your super by having, when you have your ×5 stacks and you chuck a grenade, you can essentially get half of your super back. Then the rest is just to gain the other half by just getting some kills. I'm also rocking the Wrath of Rasputin, mainly because I'm either gonna use like the Xenophage when I'm using this build. Like a proper loadout will probably be Xenophage, Death Adder, then whatever secondary I want to use. So I can get my one myself by simply getting the explosion kills from the Dragon Spec or from the Xenophage. So it's a win-win situation. It does mean I don't have global reach, but the idea is to essentially have the ads clumped up so I can kill as much as possible anyway. Because I want the ads, I want to like run in the middle of ads so that I can essentially do a dodge and explode. And the boot looks fucking cool. So the whole aim of this build is to essentially just blow shit up. So one mindset will help me do that, and energy converter will just let me get my super back, I guess. Now, the other way to play this is to essentially swap energy converter for protective light. Protective light will essentially give you that extra cushion to stay alive. It does mean that obviously you're more protected, because if you keep the charged up and the supercharge and you get like up to ×5, you pretty much get the max amount of protection that the protective light can give you. That means you can play more aggressive. You can go in the middle of a bunch of ads and feel still safe, because one, you get your dodge and get kills with some of them. you still make 1 mind cells, which means you can essentially kill the rest of the ads. The sad bit about this build though is the time bomb, the detonator, the explosion is not a solo explosion, which does mean the explosion from the boot does not actually proc Wrath of Rasputin, which I'm very sad about because that was the main reason I wanted to make this build. But if you have some form of solo explosion weapons anyway, you should be good. So all in all, it's an actual easy build to make due to the fact all you need is just 100 mobility so that you can get your dodge as fast as possible. You can also rock, if like for example I can switch this out. Actually, I think I already got one set up. I can switch this out so that I can have my 1-2 finisher. So if you think you cannot get your dodge, if you want your dodge even faster, is to essentially sacrifice some super energy to get your melee back at that moment by simply finishing your closest target. The reason I'm not using that though is mainly because my melee does come back fast enough anyway. It's not really a needed aspect of it. But if you want like that opportunity to pretty much be able to say I want my melee now kind of situation, then that is also an option. Obviously, you can also have like an arc version of the bombardment, or just have like some form of arc gear. So I can always put reactive pulse instead. It does mean you need to have like arc ornaments if you want to activate the overshield for performing a finisher, but I don't think most people really care about that. So you can have like reactive pulse. Obviously you still need to make sure you have your taken charge. So you can have reactive pulse, and essentially this does mean, just like protective life, this will essentially keep you more safer. It means when I go in the middle of the ads and anything like attacks me at close range, reactive pulse will essentially act like a 1 mind cell kind of explosion. Like this used to be like super OP because it did as much damage as like a 1 mind cell. Now I think it's like half the amount, but it does mean this and the reactive pulse combined with the bombardment explosion will clear everything kind of like a 1 mind cell, like everything close to you. Obviously the range is not as huge compared to like a 1 mind cell with with global reach. Like you don't have the range to like clear the whole room, but it will clear like pretty much most of the ads around you will die. So there's like multiple ways to like play this build to kind of like take advantage of the explosions you want to make. So all in all, to be honest, it's an actually pretty good exotic. It was something that I just wanted to make mainly just to see that I can make it. One, and just to have a build surrounded around this boot. The sad thing is though, because there's so many exotic boots for the hunter, trying to farm this in the lost sector is near to impossible because it is very difficult. Like I swear I used to have a pair. I don't know, maybe I deleted it. I have one of those like abilities to delete shit and then want it later. But all in all, it's a good build. So people actually do try this out. Okay, so with the build, it should be, I can create 1 mind cells, I can create explosions. My melee comes up often enough, and I can get my super fast enough. So essentially, it's a build that I can use a lot for general use. I'll probably say mainly for like a strike, maybe a raid. nothing like completely high-end content, like a GM. Well, you can easily do a raid with this. Clear out easily. Because we want myself plus the boots, so I feel like it should be good. Actually makes me want to farm the boot now. Boom. Don't want to kill him too fast, so I'll naturally see. No bad.
Why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go on, run it back. You know that I run it.